The following program contains coarse language. Viewer discretion is advised.
This story and the name of this girl really touched the whole nation. I know it went viral in so many other places. Like every once in a while when we talk about certain stories, I know we will get a large amount of traffic over here when we're speaking about certain stories. But nonetheless, it's still an honor for me to speak on this baby's behalf and what she went through and what her father did to her. It's just something you wouldn't think a human would do. It's something that you think that even the mentality of a person, even the title of being called a father, you wouldn't ever think to do what this man did. He did the unthinkable. And this is just getting worse and worse the more that this goes through court. We got a little bit of information to give you guys that might be updates to a lot of y'all. So let's talk about Kei'Mani Latigue. Let me give you a disclaimer and then we'll go from there. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. So my source for this particular story update is 13abc.com. So if they're listening, thank you for this article. A Lucas Grand County jury indicted the man, the father, accused of abducting and killing his own daughter in Toledo, Ohio. So Ohio took a huge L with this story. Darnell Jones. Who? Darnell Jones. This bitch, this alleged father, this alleged man, this alleged human, who also goes by Darnell Ogletree, Darnell Jones, whatever you want to call him. He is accused of killing his own 13-year-old daughter by the name of Kei'Mani Latigue and leaving her body in an abandoned home. The grand jury indicted him Wednesday on more than a dozen charges, unveiling new information in the case. So if y'all have not heard some of this stuff, you might want to brace yourself because it might be triggering. Let me give you a disclaimer. The following video might contain material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. That is the only other disclaimer you're going to get. All right. Now, the grand jury returned an indictment accusing Jones of aggravated murder, rape, kidnapping, aggravated burglary, endangering children, gross abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence. That is just not even comprehensible. Incomprehensible. A breakdown of those charges and the corresponding specifications are shown in the charging document below. So get ready for this. The capital murder case means that Jones could face the death penalty if convicted, according to the Ohio Revised Code. And if we believe everything that happened here, I hope that he gets the death penalty. I hope he gets the firing squad. What do y'all think about that? I don't know if you can get that option in Ohio, but if you could, I would love to see that happen. This case involves one of the most heinous sets of facts I've seen in more than 40 years working in Lucas County Prosecutor's Office, which is a statement from Lucas County Prosecutor Julia Bates. If not this case, then which case? We will try this case not in the court of public opinion, but in a courtroom with a professional team defined by compassion, integrity, and commitment to the rule of law. We are determined. So, of course, they're talking about us YouTubers. If y'all didn't know that, as YouTubers, as content creators, we have an opinion, and we're always going to have an opinion because I believe that we can really, really, truly make a difference if we all work together and start spreading the news, spreading the stories. If you see something, say something, tell on these sons of bitches. If y'all see something wrong, protect these kids. And maybe causing people like this to suffer the death penalty might just scare people enough to not do some stupid shit like this. Sometimes consequences is the only thing that people understand. Now, We are determined to deliver justice for Kei'Mani Latigue for everyone in our community affected by this tragedy. The indictment marks the first official filings that include any allegations of sexual abuse against the teen. A Columbus police official previously said that the victim had been raped. Though law enforcement officials handling the case in Lucas County did not corroborate that information at the time, they didn't want it to come out, but it is definitely out now. The new filings allege the crimes against Kei'Mani Latigue happened on or about March the 17th through March the 18th, roughly about 2 days, given a timeline for her abduction and death from authorities for the first time. The developments come just days after authorities refiled charges against Jones in Toledo Municipal Court, which shows this fool Jones allegedly admitted to police that he dragged his own daughter Kei'Mani to the abandoned home and killed her there, among other nasty ass shit that he did. He is due back in court for his arraignment on April the 30th, which, depending on when you're watching this, is actually going to be tomorrow. So maybe if we can get that live stream, that'd be awesome. Y'all have my email, theafcmatters@gmail.com, right here below me. Send it to me if y'all can find that court stream, the live stream, if it's even there. Now, here's a timeline as far as what we know so far. The Lucas County indictment says Jones allegedly kidnapped, raped, and killed Kei'Mani on or about March the 17th through March the 18th. Point number 2. Toledo police announced the teen was missing on March the 18th. Point number 3, 13 Action News spoke to Darnell Jones and Kei'Mani's grandmother, Dorothy Latigue, about the girl's disappearance on March the 19th, though he was not considered a suspect at that time. Jones told us he last seen his daughter around 12:30 a.m. on March the 17th. No one else had seen her before roughly 10:30 p.m. on March the 16th. Jones, the dad, said Kei'Mani called him and said she was afraid to be home alone. I came over here because she said that it seemed like somebody was trying to break into the house. Me and my cousin sat over here for an hour and we left around 12:30-ish, Jones said. The community held a search party for Kei'Mani on March 21st, the Friday after her disappearance. Jones' then-girlfriend told Action 13 News that the same day, Jones asked her to turn off the cameras at their home, adding that a relative saw him acting suspiciously when he hid a mat under the stairs in the house. The woman said Jones later called her from Columbus, so she told police where to find him. Another point, 2 days later, on Sunday, March 23rd, prosecutors filed an abduction charge against Darnell Jones. Investigators found Kei'Mani Latigue's body at an abandoned home on Miami Street on Monday, March the 24th. And the final point, police found Darnell Jones in Columbus on Tuesday, March the 25th. The SWAT officers shot him when he grabbed a gun during a confrontation. He was hospitalized for his injuries in the shooting. And they got a whole big old document there. It is, I don't know, a lot of reading there. Whole lot of reading, but again, you can find it on 13abc.com if y'all want to look that up. If you ask me, this man should be skinned alive, even though that is not something you can legally do to punish somebody. You can think it. You just can't do it. It ain't legal. But firing squad could potentially be legal as a death sentence. But nonetheless, we need to get justice.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody. which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 USC 107.
I thought they said at some point he actually had some arson charges prior to this incident. So I don't know if that house was burned up because of him or whatever the case is. I don't know that for a fact. But I do like the question, what do y'all think about that house being burned up like that? It makes you wonder if maybe he had something to do with that too. Y'all do me a favor, hit that thumbs up if you're listening. Here we go. Let's take a look at the news video. So this should be pretty good audio. Here we go.
The investigation began on Tuesday, March 18th. Kei'Mani's grandmother and legal guardian, Dorothy Latigue, tells 11 Investigates she came home from work early that morning and noticed things were out of place.
I usually get off of work at 9 o'clock. I made it home like 9:40 that morning. She wasn't here. There were things in the floor that should not have been. That's what caused the alarm. So I called the school to speak with her. I asked them, could I speak with her? And then they did. They contacted the principal, her teacher, and the gym teacher, and all three of those guys said that she was not there.
That's when she called police. By Friday, March 21st, the community came together to search for Kei'Mani. That effort included her mother, Tiara Caston, who lives in Cleveland.
I seen her on the 15th. Her dad brought her down to my house, and apparently my mother gave him permission. And honestly, it was just me loving on my kid. You know, we played video games. We played, we talk mess. You know, that's what we do. We roast each other, all types of stuff, but it's all love. This is breaking me. I've been falling the apart since I found out. I've legitimately been on social media since the minute I found out, spreading awareness, sending out flyers, contact information, anything to get my baby home. I have not slept in 3 days. I have not ate in 3 days.
Police tracked phone records, reviewed surveillance footage, and talked to witnesses. That led them to a man identified as Kei'Mani's father, 33-year-old Darnell Jones. Detectives believed he was the last person with her. TPD says Jones provided inconsistent statements. By Sunday, March 23rd, he was charged with abduction. An arrest warrant was issued.
This man has been to my house several times. He usually takes her for weekends to his house to visit with him and his other children. And I feel deceived. Like, you played for so long in my face, like you was her dad, like you really had her best interests at heart. But where is she?
The next day, Monday, March 24th, police found Kei'Mani's body in a burned-out house on Miami Street in East Toledo. The Lucas County Coroner's Office determined she suffered multiple deep cuts to her neck, and an autopsy determined her death a homicide. Jones was charged with murder.
We are working the case as fast as we can. As I said before, I think we're in a really good place investigatively, and I think as soon as we can button everything up and run down every lead, the last thing we want to do is be premature in our charges or premature in saying, this is the only suspect we have, we're good. We don't like to do that. We like to make sure we investigate everything out there, so when we do take this to trial, there is no room for doubt.
Authorities tracked their suspect to Columbus, where body cam video showed Jones reaching for a gun. Then, an officer shot him multiple times.
Show me your hands right now. Pull your hand out of your... I swear to God, pull your...
Shots fired! Shots fired! This was an individual wanted for homicide out of Toledo. I called my union counterpart in Toledo. I said, hey, good news, we have your guy. Your guy committed a murder, chose to fled to our town. I'll tell you right now, the wrong town to come to if you murder somebody. Our SWAT team will go out looking for you. This case is one of the most horrific cases I ever heard. This is a 14-year-old that was murdered, raped, had her hands cut off, and her throat almost cut off. This is an absolute animal that came into our town.
Jones survived and was hospitalized in Columbus. He remained there through Wednesday, April 9th, when he was moved to the Franklin County Jail awaiting arraignment the following morning.
I feel hurt. I've lost somebody in the city of Toledo that's been so dear, is so dear to me. And I feel like she kind of became part of Toledo.
The case has drawn the attention of so many people here in the Toledo community and even outside. There are passionate conversations and pleas for justice across social media, as well as criticism of Lucas County Children's Services.
I want to hear from CSB. We all do. What happened? What was the missing link? Where was the disconnect?
This is a concern to us here at Lucas County, because I want to be clear. We have no record of any call from a mandated reporter or community member for an entire year prior to her murder. We have no record of anyone from Toledo Public Schools ever calling us with respect to Kei'Mani. We have no record of anyone calling us ever with concerns about Darnell Jones.
By March 27th, the Lucas County Commissioners formed a task force to look into the agency. The goal? To identify any shortcomings, but not investigate how Children's Services handled Kei'Mani's case.
So the task force is not to examine a single case. Our shared goal is broader to ensure that every child and every family in Lucas County receives the protection and the care they deserve. Nothing can be more important. I look forward to working with the community's volunteer who will be a part of this process.
Just look at our history when we've done task force before. Look at TARDA. We committed to make a change. There's substantial change. Health Department, they needed change. We made change. I'll stand on our record of not just talking. Nobody here is just we're not going to spend 9 months analyzing a problem. You know, we know it. We're going to know what the problem is, then we're going to go after it. I can't make any commitments today of what that looks like because nobody knows. But it goes where it goes. It's outside in, and we're going to get started.
Lucas County Children's Services has since sent out a news release. It's explained it can't release some information because of privacy laws, and other facts could create challenges for prosecutors as Kei'Mani's alleged killer faces trial.
Because the understandable facts and the understandable rationale, we're not able to do that right now. But yeah, I do think that once this prosecution is over, and with the help of the task force, I think we'll be able to release our files and let the people judge how we responded prior to Kei'Mani's death.
The agency spoke publicly during a news conference on Tuesday, April 8th. Executive Director Randy Muth revealed a report by Kei'Mani's former teacher was investigated, along with another incident of excessive physical discipline by Kei'Mani's grandmother. Those happened in December of 2023 and March of 2024, and both situations ended without sufficient evidence to warrant removing Kei'Mani from the home.
So now y'all are hearing about the accusations against the grandmother. So that might be some of the information that they're holding on to that they haven't really put out there yet. But I think there's going to be more coming in this story, so just stand by. I'm pretty sure we're going to do at least a couple more updates with this, for sure.
We determined that the placement there was appropriate. All the basic needs of the child were being met. She was getting all of her sustenance, her housing conditions were fine, her school and medical conditions were being met.
All right, Brian, so a ton to unpack here. This case is still in the very early stages. The dad.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We want to start off with the latest developments in the murder of 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue.
Darnell Jones Ogletree, the man accused of killing her, has been indicted by a grand jury. We are also learning new information about the day that Kei'Mani was reported missing.
So for those of y'all who have been following the story, did y'all not hear about that? Y'all didn't hear about the grandmother and potentially her being linked to some of this abuse and misuse and stuff like that? So if that's new to y'all, then yes, there's some allegations, there are some thoughts and belief that there might be more charges coming for more people. But I digress for now. We don't know that for a fact. But just keep that in mind as we go forward. When more information comes out, it could be starting tomorrow, then we will kind of go from there.
Including conversations that police had with Jones.
We've got live team coverage tonight. Silver Barker has more on Jones's charges, and lead investigator Brian Duggar has more on the police report.
And we want to start with Silver. So how many charges is he facing in all?
Yeah, Jeff, first, this is now a capital murder case. Jones is facing a total of 15 charges, including aggravated murder for the death of 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue. Now, he also faces charges with rape, kidnapping, and tampering with evidence. Toledo police said in a court document that Jones admitted to dragging Kei'Mani Latigue involuntarily to an abandoned home and killing her. Lucas County prosecutor Julia Bates sent us a statement about the indictment. She says, quote, "This case involves one of the most heinous sets of facts I've seen in more than 40 years working in the Lucas County prosecutor's office." She also says, "We will try this case, not in the court of public opinion, but in a courtroom with a professional team defined by compassion, integrity, and commitment to the rule of law." Now, Jones is now eligible for the death penalty, as this is a capital crime. However, we did reach out to Bates regarding if she would seek the death penalty. However, we have not got that answered yet. We'll continue to keep you guys updated as we learn more. Reporting live in downtown Toledo, Silver Barker, WTOL 11.
So we now know that Kei'Mani Latigue's father has been indicted in the rape and murder of the 13-year-old girl, but our 11 Investigates team is finding out even more information about the day that she disappeared. Lead investigator Brian Duggar joining us as our team coverage continues. Brian?
Yeah, we obtained a police report this morning that indicates Kei'Mani's father, Darnell Jones, was at the house when police arrived to investigate her disappearance. And he told police Kei'Mani called him and asked him to come over because people were trying to break into her Elm Street home. And Darnell told police he stayed with her until 12:30 in the morning and then he left. Now, Kei'Mani's grandmother, Dorothy, arrived home at 9:30 in the morning. She told police she noticed several unusual things. The door was not locked. She found Kei'Mani's glasses and house keys inside, and all 4 stovetop eyes and the oven were turned on. And also very concerning for Dorothy was the discovery of Kei'Mani's underwear and pajama bottoms in the dining room. This was not a location where the girl would change, Dorothy told police. Now, we know from court documents that Jones told police he killed Kei'Mani in the Miami Street home where her body was found, but we don't know where police believe she was sexually assaulted. Could that clothing be an indication it was done inside her home? It is one of several questions we still can't answer. Reporting in studio, this is Brian Duggar for 11 Investigates.
And we will continue to cover any new information about this case as it emerges, both on air and online. Right now on WTOL 11+, you can watch the full video of crew.
So, in closing, again, we'll talk about the grandmother another time. But if anybody has a link, like I say, to that live stream, I'll probably look for it. But if you have it, you can send it to me to afcmatters@gmail.com. He's supposed to be going to court tomorrow. I don't know if that's just like a preliminary thing. I'm not really sure. But if we can get some more detailed information, then we'll report it. Like I say, if it's just something small, then we'll do an update at another time. But again, to Kei'Mani Latigue, Princess, let me get his face off the screen. Boy, pisses me off. Let me get her face back up here. Young Princess, R.I.P. So we hope to get justice, and swift justice at that. So make sure you guys stay tuned in on this story. We'll definitely do more updates, okay? Thank you.